Rico McGee, man, another episode of the Sportsman. And of course, I got my man's Mel Thorpe, man, 216 Sports Network, Sportsman in collaboration. It's always a good thing when we get together, man. Mel, how you feel?
I'm good, man. I'm chilling. Let's get this show on the road.
Okay. Earlier today, I'm at work. I'm in my DMs talking to Ronnie and Mel. Shout out to Ronnie. 4th to 15 podcast. Check them out. And we were talking about the greatest NCAA football games of all time. And I told Mel I was going to do an episode, and I'm like, I'm about to do this episode. I'm about to get it popping. Mel wanted to be a part of it. And of course, I wasn't going to tell my mans no. So I'm like, shoot, go ahead. And then we just throw games out there, man, and see what we like. And so today we're going to talk about our 5 best college football games of all time. And I also threw in my 5 best pro football games of all time, too. So anything, this is what we got, man. What you think, Mel?
Let's do it, man. I want to hear this.
Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. Number 5, I got Bill Walsh, college football.
Before we get started,
Okay.
I don't mean to cut you off.
You good?
Let's start over because a lot of people don't understand and don't realize that we wouldn't have NCAA football if it wasn't for Bill Walsh college football.
Not at all.
Why am I saying this, y'all might ask? Well, if you look at the timeline, Bill Walsh was the first college football game that we got. It also featured the first college football where every championship team up to that point was listed on this game. Not only that, when we get to 95, everybody's loaded. Everybody's in play. So Bill Walsh is the start of college football, or what you now know as NCAA football, because that's where it began.
It started with Bill Walsh, and this was before EA Sports got the NCAA license. So you couldn't play as Florida State, or they couldn't name them Florida State at the time. They had to go by Tallahassee University or something like that. That's just one example. And yeah, Bill Walsh definitely paved the way for college football. So Bill Walsh is always going to be in high regard. Does not matter. If you don't have Bill Walsh college football, well, you might not. Some people. But I got Bill Walsh at number 5. Number 4, I got NCAA Game Breaker 98. My little cousin came over to the house one day. We had the PlayStation, and he just brought over NCAA, and there was something about it, man. For some reason, I like playing with North Carolina. They weren't a football team. Listen, don't look at me like I'm crazy. I get it. I just happened to pick UNC that game, and I just lit my little cousin up. He was mad. He tried to fight me, and and
I would too. Carolina. Come on, man.
I'm like, I should have picked Tech because that was when Tech had Vic. I think was that 98? No. I don't remember what year it was specifically, but I just remember picking UNC and busting his ass with UNC. So number 3, I'm gonna go NCAA football 2007. Me and Ronnie was talking about that earlier. I think that's the year where you had your own dorm room and you had the eligibility mode where you had to keep yourself eligible on the field. That was dope. That was just amazing. And number 2, I got NCAA football 2006 just because I loved the impact player mode. Like, I think it would like the meter would go up on the impact player. You know how the little bright light would shine under the top player. So if you're playing with USC and Reggie Bush is in full impact mode, whoever tried to tackle him, they weren't going to get to him. He was taking off down the field, and I just loved impact player mode. Number 1, I got NCAA football 2012 because I love Road to Glory mode. Road to Glory mode was my favorite. It's probably my all-time favorite mode. I just used to create myself as a quarterback, throw for 4,000 yards all 4 years. That was just the funnest one. I loved NCAA 12. That's my top 5.
Yeah, I like that. That's an interesting take on it. So
Yeah.
I'm a rebuttal with mine. Right? At number 5, of course, I got Bill Walsh college football, and I got Bill Walsh 95 because everything that Bill Walsh started, Bill Walsh 95 upgraded. It came in spades. They was laying them out. So you couldn't miss with either game.
Uh-uh.
At number 4, I have NCAA '05. Why do I have this one? This one is dear to my heart because it gave you a sense of I can do this. Like I used to get killed in NCAA. Like my uncle would just trash me every NCAA game that came out. Didn't matter who I picked, who was on the team, he would just kill me. All right, cool. At number was that 4? So number 3, I got college football. Excuse me, I got college football USA '97. I get it. This game was crappy. This game had nothing on Bill Walsh, but the fact that it was 106 teams you could pick from, everybody's playbook was unique. The colors of the team uniforms was spot on at the time. And Tommy Frazier was on the cover of it. So if you knew Tommy Frazier, or if you know about Tommy Frazier, him being on the cover of a video game is a big deal. At number 2, I got NCAA Football '99. Why? I didn't even like PlayStation. I hated PlayStation. But the fact that the Sega Saturn never got a college football game, and on top of that, Charles Woodson's on the cover. My favorite all-time player, pros or college, is Charles Woodson. So Charles Woodson being on the covers had me sold. Turns out he's a bad motherfucker in this game where he's uncontrollable.
Yeah, right. Right.
You know them controls on PlayStation was terrible.
Right.
And number 1, I got 2, and they play into each other. I got NCAA '06 and I got NCAA 2004. Now,
Okay.
for those of y'all that are in the know or not in the know or just want to hear it, NCAA 2004 was the first game to innovate the crowd control mechanism. Where if you're playing in a hostile environment, like, oh, I don't know, the Orange Bowl, and you're playing with the Hurricanes, you had that place rocking. And if you know anything about the Hurricanes back then, the Orange Bowl was rocking every home game. So when NCAA '06 came out 2 years later, I literally had the dynasty mode or the creative school mode.
Yeah.
And what I did was I kicked, it was either Indiana or Northwestern, one of them two. I kicked them out of the Big Ten and I joined the Big Ten. And I scheduled every tough game I could in order for me to win the national championship. Not only that, I literally, in the creative school mode, I created Mount Union.
Okay.
And what I did was I put myself at every position that I played in real life. So you had me at wide receiver, you had me at corner, you had me at safety, I was at punt return, I was at kick return. And just so I could have all the trophies that they give out in NCAA, I put myself at quarterback and I put myself at running back. So there was basically no escaping me.
Hey, that's what it is, man. Like, I had to create a school. I remember playing NCAA. I think that was '07 or '06. I don't remember which one, but I remember taking Hampton University. Remember, they had the Division I AA schools on there on the PlayStation versions. So I took Hampton from the MEAC, and I think I put them in the MAC. And I don't know why I put them in the MAC, but I boosted all the players up to like 99 overall, and I was just destroying shit in the MAC. And I scheduled like Ohio State and like other like Power 5 schools on the schedule too. It was crazy. Like I used to do a lot. NCAA was just so innovative and fun, man. Like,
oh man, you ain't lying there because it was so funny because it was a funny story. I won, I think after my 4th Heisman Trophy, the SEC sent me an invitation to leave the Big Ten and join the SEC. And I was like, y'all sure y'all want me to do that? And I said, you know what? Screw it, because I'm sick of Bama, I'm sick of Georgia, I'm sick of LSU. It was all teams that had beat Ohio State at some point in time.
Yeah.
So I joined the SEC and ran the SEC. I ain't even care. You couldn't escape me. It was Romel Thorpe every 5 seconds you saw me. I never left the field.
I remember like before coming out of high school, man, my dream school I wanted to go to was Penn State. And I created myself on NCAA football to play for Penn State. Like according to my real height, I'm a short corner, but I'm beasting. Like I locked down Ted Ginn. This is on NCAA football, not in real life. Let me make that very clear. I only locked him up on the game. Okay. In real life, we talking about a whole different story. I'm not stepping out there if he's out there. But it allowed me to feel like I'm the man, dog. I'm the man. Like NCAA was mad fun, man. I'm glad they coming back next year, man. I'm definitely glad they coming back. I don't know if it's gonna come back as NCAA. I haven't read too much on the story.
Well, from what I've known is they're still having the litigation part, so we might be hung up in juries or in court a little bit, all because of the name, image, and likeness stuff. But I can't say I blame them because this was something that was long overdue anyway. At least if you're not gonna pay all the guys for their likeness, at least pay the guy that's on the cover.
Yeah.
Because he's already graduating. You putting his likeness or you putting a picture of him on the cover the year after he left. So like Zabransky, Joey Harrington, Larry Fitzgerald, not Charles Wilson, but
Desmond Howard.
Desmond Howard. So yeah, get these guys. If you're gonna put them on the cover, at least pay them.
Yeah.
At least pay those guys. You know, you asking them to advertise and boost your game, so why not? But to be fair, NCAA was their game. So you got me thinking about going back and playing Bill Walsh tonight just because.
Man, I was what was I getting ready to say? I forgot just that quick. But yeah, NCAA, man, like NCAA, I look more forward to playing NCAA than I did Madden.
We all did because NCAA listened to the people. They didn't just, patch some stuff up and then send it back out. It was like, all right. When they introduced, I will never forget. I literally drove after I got out of school when NCAA 04 was out. I literally drove I took my mom's car and I drove up to GameStop in Cleveland Heights and I bought NCAA 04. And as soon as we got home, me and Mike Marshall sat up there and played it, and it was on Xbox. And I forget who he was, but I picked the Hurricanes. And we was playing at the Orange Bowl, and his controller started shaking like I had never seen before. Like this was some otherworldly, this ain't even Halo type shaking when you in the tank and you holding the gun.
Yeah.
The trigger down on the tank. Like this was shaking to the point where I had a glass table. I was scared it was gonna break my glass table. So like to see that innovation and then to see them incorporate new stuff, that's top tier right there.
Yeah, definitely.
Like NCAA football games really captured the pageantry of college football. And I love the mascot games as well. Because you can
the mascot games were slept on. The mascot games.
You can do some shit with them games.
Yeah. Yeah. Like me and one of my best friend, Mike Allen, rest his soul. When I first got NCAA 06, man, we used to just link up and just play NCAA all day. I remember one day he got mad because I beat him with Michigan State. It took like 4 overtimes. And I just remember him going outside and blah, blah. I go outside. He's smashing his control up against the brick wall. And I'm like,
wow.
Mike.
Sore loser.
Man, let me tell you something.
Don't be a sore loser, people.
Lose with some dignity. Man. He was passionate. We was passionate because I was a sore loser too. I got mad one day. I'm like, man, you know what?
I only get mad when there's money involved or food. In the only 2 ways I get mad about it. You beat me, because I know at this stage of the game, because I never sat and played Madden or NCAA like that. I was the really, really casual guy.
Yeah.
Now, if it was Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, I got you. See me is something I know I got a chance, but in NCAA, it was a toss-up. It's 50-50. It's
Yeah,
anybody's game.
it depended on who I was playing. Because me
Man,
and my brother, we was even in NCAA, but
now that I think about it, I still got a friend that's mad at me for beating him one time in NCAA.
NCAA had brothers, man. I was that just passionate, man, nostalgic, man. Once they get this out the way, man, hopefully the next college game will be released next year. Hopefully.
I'm not gonna doubt it. I think it'll get done. I just think a lot of things will be different, but uh I'm really excited to see what they do with this one because there's a lot of things you can do, and then the transfer portal and stuff like that. You know, in real life, we can see how they implement that, how they implement, you know, Dion's influence, Coach Prime's influence in the HBCUs if they decide to go that route. I hope they do because they haven't done that since I want to say NCAA '03 was the
Yeah,
last I remember
yeah.
because I almost beat my uncle with Grambling State, and that game started out good and then it turned out ugly. But like I said, that's just one of the things I hope that they do because that will show the progression of college football in a better light than what you're seeing now.
Right, right, definitely. I think Dynasty mode was just always fun. I used to love Dynasty mode. Like,
Let me create my put back for those if anybody at EA is gonna catch this, go back to create a school mode. I miss that mode. I need that mode back. If you don't do it for nobody else, do it for me. Send me a private copy. I'll pay the shipping and handling with the $59.99. I need to create a school mode back because that
yeah,
was the most fun I had. Like that was some fun no level of any game you could have outside of a fighting game.
yeah, I agree. I agree, man. So hopefully let's get it done, man. Definitely. Romel, thank you so much for joining the show today, man. Really appreciate it. My Zoom is tripping. I only got a couple of minutes left. Freak it. So we got to end the episode a little early, but it is what it is. I'm Rico McGee. This is Romel Thorpe. Always catch 4th and 15 podcast with Mel and Smooth. Whenever we drop it, it's that fire. That's why we only come once every while. No, I'm just kidding. But it's like a Floyd Mayweather fight, man. Everybody stop to see it. Definitely check us out, man. I'm Rico McGee. This has been the Sports Minute, and as always, we'll see you in a minute.